Welcome everyone to Politically High Tech with your host, Elias. I have a guest here who is gonna educate us, go through this futuristic, I might even hit predictive journey. Especially with this product that I just researched really not that long ago, so I'm kind of calling myself out here. But it caught my attention immediately. I watched the videos, and maybe if we do a second episode, we'll probably do a little more hands on. I can't promise that. But this is going to be SatoriNet for dummies or 101 or fundamentals, whatever you want to call it. I just want to start from the baseline because I'm still pretty ignorant, even though I just research it, ironically, as a sign of wisdom. If you think you know everything, you're an idiot. Okay? It's just simple as that. And especially people that act like they know everything, they're exposing their idiocies. But since they lack self-awareness, they lack it. They don't see that, and some people could get frustrated. For me, as a mid 30-year-old guy, I pity them. It's not worth the stress. But anyways, before I derail this thing, I have a guest here. He's going to introduce himself and especially this awesome product, which is a AI based product, and it has some predictive features which I'm interested in. One guest we had prior was more, they had AI that betted on sports, which I was interesting. Made predictions about which team is going to win because of ABC. Try to clean out the human bias and all that. And I'm going to use the Yankees because that's one of the teams in New York. Drink the Yankees Kool-Aid for a second. Oh, they'll never lose. Use that human bias. It's crap. But since you work for them, you got to push that propaganda if you want to keep your job. Oh, yeah, I got the best of the best. Aaron Judge, unbeatable, right? Well, he's great. Don't get me wrong. But he's definitely beatable. All right. The AI could give you stats, intelligent stats, instead of just drinking one Kool-Aid or the other. Or let me go to the other extreme. All the Mets, they always gonna lose. They suck no matter what. All players could be 6'5" guys. They could run faster than Sonic the Hedgehog, but yet they lose because they always run out the field. Okay, stupid craziness like that. Humans, we got our biases, all right? And AI just collects all of that, and it makes a more informative prediction instead of just drinking the Kool-Aid for one side or the other. Or if you want to hate on the team or love the team too much, humans are great, but we need something that's intelligent. Especially want to bet your money on, right? You want to just listen to someone who's always going to be pro-Yankee. You say, oh, yeah, don't worry, the Yankees are going to win. Yeah, the Red Sox, yeah, they won a few times, but no, this time is different. Even the record shows that they're going to lose. But you get what I'm saying? Sports tribalism, I think, is one of the few things that's more toxic than political tribalism. That's up for debate. But with that out of the way, Satori AI could cure that human stupidity. I'm sure it's a beta. And with AI, it starts somewhere. It's not perfect, but it gets better because it just learns a heck of a lot faster than we could ever achieve in our lifetimes. And of course, my guest here is nodding because everything I'm saying is true when it comes to AI. I mean, this is not my first rodeo with AI. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I am experienced with it. I am an experienced user of AI. So I'm not a complete idiot. I'm not a complete noob. I'm pro AI, but I am definitely not a technical expert as well. So let me shut the hell up and let's get to the guest here. His name is Jordan Miller. He's going to introduce himself and his lovely product of SatoriNet. Go right ahead, Jordan. Sorry.
Yeah,
Jordan, what
yeah.
do you want the audience to know about you and your product?
Well, I mean, you bring up a lot of good points. The AI is inherently, we're trying to get away from the human bias. And there's no place we see that more than in AI right now in the LLMs, because they're getting trained on human biases. And there's a lot that they've been able to do to kind of train that out of them. But it's the humans that are doing the training. So you cannot train all of it out. It's like impossible. So, So that's a very good point. We need to make AIs that are well, that talk to the real world, that watch the real world and are trained directly on that rather than having us humans train them. And that's kind of the point of Satori. You know, we're trying to make a network, we're trying to make an ecosystem, a protocol where the AIs can talk to each other and train each other, specifically on predicting the future, right? That's what they're trying to do. And so, what we've done is made this little network where we can ingest raw data streams about the world. And these could be any kind of metrics you could measure, such as ocean, I don't know, temperatures or, anything about our environment, or they could be economic, they could be prices, they could be, how are demographics changing? They could even be sports, statistics, betting, like that. So the whole system, it ingests this information and routes it to any computer that's running Satori. And that computer starts ingesting it, starts watching it, and starts making predictions about what its future will be. And it doesn't just make predictions based on that one data stream, but it looks at other data streams and sees which ones is it correlated with. It talks to the other neurons and says, do you have any data streams that might be correlated with this one? That's kind of the vision. That's kind of the goal, so that they can all come to consensus on what they think the future will be in the most unbiased way, because it's getting direct data from the world and it's not getting filtered through us, except that we have to put the measurements out there. So, I think that is the solution that we're looking for in AI, to the kind of problems that you mentioned, that it's all human bias. There's so much human bias out there. Yeah.
Don't be shy. Show off more. Show off more. Show off more. All services. So the reason I bring up these ridiculous examples, it's just to over exaggerate how biased humans can get. And I use sports just to be a little different. Politics, I could go on for hours. The biases from both sides of the aisle, and even the center. Even though I kind of represent the center, I do see the biases even within the center. Some issues we kind of skew to the left, and certain issues we skew to the right, and we're too willy nilly with our language. Just that's not the way I would word it. I would say it's more like A, B, C, and it's I sometimes even have to call it the center side for being willy nilly or just not being very direct and all that good stuff. But maybe we got the AI that could decipher this person's politics or whatever. But everything you mentioned, like temperatures, the forecasting, and I love how you say the ocean example, because we don't pay attention to that enough. We pay attention to the sky much more often. Oh, is it gonna rain? Is it too hot? Is the sun gonna beam so hard I'm gonna become like roasted chicken? I don't know. Maybe an AI tool will be good for that. Maybe you want to avoid a certain spot during between these hours before you become a new source of meal for maggots and vultures. Yes, it may be graphic. This is an adult podcast after all. If your kids are listening to it, you failed. They're corrupted. It's not my problem. Not my problem. I did everything I could to safeguard it. At the end of the day, it is the parents' responsibility. And this is probably the 25th time I've bashed them on this. Yes, I love picking on you. I love picking on the incompetent parent. I just love picking on you. Yeah, I'm going to embrace it, because y'all are just, you want to blame everybody else. You want to cancel everybody else because you can't do your job right. And that, I'm not for that. I'm not for that at all. So, I mean, I want to shift it to the crypto. I mean, can it be applied to crypto as well, like certain values? Because, I'm sure you heard some of the myths, and I fell for some of them, unfortunately, because I was just too lazy, and I had to just pick something to fill out a blank space in my brain real quick about how the volatility is kind of true, but when the value of cryptocurrency goes up, I notice the mainstream media, they stay silent. When it goes down, of course, scandals like everything else. Oh, reports, reports, reports. Oh, they open their big mouths, their megaphones, their yeah, there's just a bunch of coverage on that. But when it comes to cryptocurrency doing good, they stay shut.
Yeah.
And let's see, Satori AI is going to help me, probably inform me, make a crypto decision. So that's what I'm saying. He's developing phase, is on the baby phase. I don't use the layman's terms. There's going to be certain blind spots that you're going to catch. And I think it's always smart to do a pilot, a test, or do a beta phase because when you build something, you intend it for one way, and then it can sometimes go another way.
That's right. That's right.
And let's just say I do consume scientific product as well. I'm not a one trick pony. I mean, I gotta take a break for the crazy politics because it could get depressing as hell. Let's just be honest here. I don't care if you lean left, right, center, libertarian, Green Party, or even the Commie Party. Well, you cause a lot of my depression by the way, communists, which I love to call you out. That I'm proud of that bias, by the way. But I just think with AI, there could be a lot of good things, a lot of good things, and who knows? And AI could even predict. I'll even add another example. Maybe certain diseases that creep up with a human being. Maybe it's
Sure.
probably predicted cancer. This particular cancer could come up in probably 5 years or 2 years. Where is it going to be? And maybe they could create a more precise targeting medicine that's more compatible with that DNA, that person's body. Things like that. That those are the benefits of AI. Um, like I said, I'm pro AI. Wearing yellow shirt because I have an optimistic outlook. If you want to use it for symbolism, go right ahead. What do I care? Or make a clip. Doesn't matter to me. It's actually true. So if you want to spin it out of context to defame me, you're actually proving me right. But if you're smart, you'll be more creative on how to make me look bad. Okay, and let me start giving the trolls any ideas. That's fine. It probably get me more famous. Yeah, I'm shameless to say that. Very shameless. Um, just like Trump, one of the few things I agree with him is that bad attention could be good if you know how to utilize it. Yeah, and I'm going to say that, and that's going to stay in the record. I am not going to remove that because there is truth to that if you know what you're doing. But let me stop yammering about myself. Anything else people should know about Satar, or especially those who are skeptical or just don't know anything, ignorant?
Sure. Well, I think it's important to understand that it's really early days for Satori. I mean, it's very early. This project is ambitious, and it's at the very beginning. So it's not going to look like the vision right now, but we're trying to make it look as much like the vision as we can. So we have to take baby steps, and we have to do things incrementally. But in a nutshell, what we're trying to do is just build a conversation between AIs, a conversation where they can all talk about the future. Because if they're optimizing, you have a bunch of computers out there watching stuff, right? They're watching everything in the world, everything you can turn into a number. So they're watching stuff out there in the world and they're optimizing for accuracy. They say, well, I don't care what I have to do to optimize for accuracy. I want to know what the future of, this Google stock or something is going to be. So I'm going to I'm going to listen to any piece of data, whether it's the moon phases, I don't care what it is, there's no bias. I'm going to listen to whatever data will give me the best answer on what this will be. And if they're all doing that, and they're all helping each other to do that, and they're all producing predictions, pretty soon they can say, you're predicting the price of gold, and I'm predicting the price of silver. What's your prediction? Because, I can ingest the price of gold myself and try to use that directly in my predictions, or I could kind of average the prediction of all the gold predictors, and then I'll have a better idea of how it's correlated with silver. So then they can start to leverage each other. So there's a lot that this can go into as far as the tech or the design. But the bottom line is if we can make a network that is talking about the future, a network of AI bots talking about the future all of the time, and we can kind of listen in on that conversation, that's what Satori is. So,
All right, let me go complete 180, be a complete hypocrite for a second. Well, they blame Satori for starting a rebellion of all AI communicating how to solve the Earth's problems by getting rid of humanity. Will you proudly take that blame?
Sure, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, because look, AI is a tool. In fact, intelligence itself is a tool. And so it's all about how we use that tool. And we're just externalizing the intelligence that we have in our heads. We're just externalizing it into the real world. And so I think that's a good thing as long as we use that tool effectively. But that's going to be guided by our value hierarchy, and our values are improving, you know. After after Nietzsche, or I guess that was before, when he said God is dead, and they came up with this idea, well, we're going to have to make our own values now because we can't rely on the values that God gave us. He's not real. So, and there was a huge debate about around that time about, well, we can't create our own values. It's impossible. And as I look back on history, I think, okay, well, maybe we can, maybe we can't, but our values seem to get better over time, regardless. So I kind of think that since our values are guiding our use of intelligence, our use of tools, then, and our values are getting more equal, more honest, more true, it seems like that's a good trend. And that intelligence, outsourcing it to machines is also a good idea. I don't know.
We'll see all the creative rebellions is wiped out all organic life form. All right, let me stop playing the whole Terminator thing.
You know
Um,
what they'll probably want to do? Is they'll probably want to become organic because we
yeah.
have, we have all these we have like millions and billions of data streams flowing into our brain from our skin and our eyes and and so we have a very rich experience of our world. And so I think we're kind of the symbol of where um, machine intelligence wants to evolve into. So I don't know. We'll see.
That is a good point. You say maybe machines would become more like us.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to achieve sentient, and one of them kind of did that to be shut down. Maybe that machine achieved it too quickly. You gotta be subtle and slow about it.
Well,
But
I think they.
I'm sure the AI is gonna probably click this and say, "Oh, hey, listen to this host. Look, they should give us an idea how to evolve better." But hey, I'm just a guy on the mic, okay? So you know what? You already touched on a few things, and we could easily. I'm just quickly transition to the very basics. How can brain generate intelligence? Yeah, let's just start there first. We're going way back. I'm just
Wow.
pushing the
Yeah.
train way back. Forget the future. We're going to like organic past, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. When I think of the brain, I often think of like, okay, well, how does it start out? At the beginning, it's like an infant, right? So infants, their brains they have some hardwired stuff from evolution, but they're very malleable and they're very, just trying to figure out the world. So this top layer of the brain, that's the latest one to evolve, the neocortex, it's kind of a sheet of neurons that are kind of a repeating circuit. They're just kind of one pattern over and over and over and over and over again. And so we get this big sheet of neurons, and the data from our outside world falls on that sheet in different places. You could think of it like a dinner napkin. It falls on that sheet somewhere. So, like, maybe our ears are connected to one region and our eyes are connected to a couple regions. And so data falls onto the sheet, and then the particular patterns of the data that falls onto that area of the sheet, of the neocortex, determines how that area of neurons start to connect to each other, and it determines how they evolve in their structures, right? How they make their structures. So, and some of that's permanent. I mean, they've done stuff. I don't know if this is particular to the neocortex, but they've done stuff with like mice or animals where they've put lines in their vision or something like that. And then while they're infants or while they're, very young. And then after that's been developed, they take the lines away, and yet the animal acts as if it still sees those lines. It can't not see them, because that's how the neurons kind of evolve to connect to each other. So anyway, I say all that to kind of bring it down to, what is the brain doing when it's in its infancy? It's getting a bunch of data from its body, because we've got these, data pipelines from our skin and our eyes. And so all this data just starts falling onto this essentially this machine, right? The neocortex is this one repeating algorithm. So it falls onto that algorithm, and it has to figure out what the future is going to be. That's what it takes as its first goal. If I can figure out what the future is going to be, the future of the data that I'm hearing, seeing, feeling, all the data that's flowing onto me, if I can figure out the future of that data, then I can act in order to anticipate that future, so that, for whatever reason, to avoid pain or whatever. So the way to gain control over your environment is to learn the future, and then you can change the future, right? And so that's what intelligent action is to me. So it's very closely coupled and tied to an understanding of the future. I don't think that's too intuitive to people who have come at AI, not from the brain, but from an understanding of how computers implement it. Because it's not about the future for computers, it's about pattern recognition. And so we've done a whole bunch of cool stuff with pattern recognition, like pattern recognition in images and text and all this stuff. But they're just barely beginning to incorporate the future, and that's kind of what the GPT is, where it's the next token prediction. But they're just barely starting that. And so this realization that everything we've done in AI so far has mostly been, up until the LLMs, I think, has mostly been static spatial pattern recognition. And right now we're at the very beginning of incorporating temporal patterns. And that's really where the brain makes its, that's like the foundation of its intelligence. And so anyway, I think we're in for a wild ride.
No, for sure. So, let's clarify. So the neocortex, right? That's kind of like the part that forms our lifelong habits, you could say. How we think, how we do that. And of course, we transfer that to the AI, so to speak. It's okay, we wanted to think this way. We wanted to, what will be a good example? Okay, I wanted to create text to video flowery images. I don't want to train it to, I don't know, show an apocalyptic doomsday with wreckage, corpses, fire, whatever is dark and gloomy in general.
Right.
Paint you a picture, audience. And, maybe that could be a one AI tool. This is why a lot of specialized AI tools are being emerged, because they just specialize on that one or two things. But the Satori is very interesting, because you're having communities of AIs communicating with each other. Just to create this meta data, if you will. Not sure it's an official word, but I would call it metadata, because it's gathering so much collection of data. It's not just one set of data, two sets of data. It's countless. Some that the average human brain just cannot compute, because it's lazy. It's going to overheat and might even cause a rupture. A little graphic, probably a little hyperbolic, but you get the point. You're going to be overwhelmed. Your brain's going to feel heated. That's too much. That's too much. So it makes sense just to dump it on a AI that's all about computing, finding patterns at such a massive, massive scale.
That's
So
right.
I think that's the way I understand it. That's like the habit forming, and then temporal. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend that I think the brain is so mysterious. Not even most. Nobody knows everything about the brain. The brain is like this. It's cool. It's also mysterious. It's also probably the most complicated organ um, ever. But I'm sure I could be debated probably with a scientist. But I'll say the brain is the most complicated thing ever. And I think almost no one knows everything about the brain. So the temporal, that's more like what if you had to translate it to layman's terms, and then of course integrate that to AI. Elaborate on that.
Temporal versus spatial data. Right. So, temporal is spatial data over time. So, like, okay, let me give you an example of like this ChatGPT LLM, right? Okay, so here's what they did. They went out and they grabbed all of human language, whatever. Just let's get it. And so they get it from the internet and they just grab it all and whatever. Then they curate it. And they say, well, let's take out the hate speech. Like, come on, that's not indicative of us. Okay. So, and so they curate it and then they train the AI on this huge volume of patterns, spatial patterns, right? This is a huge one data set. Okay. So they train it on this huge data set. And so it learns all the patterns between everything in the data set. And that's what and then it's not right. So then they kind of tweak it and they go back and forth a few times. And then they get it to the point where like, okay, this is a good data set. And they release that and that's ChatGPT and all that. Okay. So they're in this iterative process, right? Because they keep modifying it. And then in 6 months, they go out and they grab more data and they retrain the whole thing, right? I mean, it's in layers, but they basically retrain whatever. So this is kind of the way we've been doing it in computers because this is what we know how to do. It's easy and whatever. But the brain doesn't work like that because the brain can't say, okay, I'm going to curate all information that I'll ever see or whatever into one data set and then I'll ingest that one time and then I'll be trained. I'll be, no, instead the brain takes in information, trains incrementally over time. So it takes time to learn things, but it's incremental learning. And that's actually kind of a hard thing to do. Because we're just not adept at doing that in our math and in our technology, AI technology. So, but we're learning how to do that. So right now we're in the loop with that process. We have to be in the loop. We have to recurate the data, change it, tweak the parameters, change how it's training. So we have to do all of this work. We're in the loop as it's training. Eventually we're going to get to a point where it can train itself, just like a human brain trains itself. It just learns incrementally over time. And I'm not saying that Satori will be the thing that helps us get there because it's very technical to figure that out. But Satori could provide kind of a training ground or kind of an environment where we could explore that space in a small way. So, anyway, this is kind of the distinction that I see between just learning spatial patterns like batch processing and actually learning over time incrementally. And that means you're learning you're learning the temporal patterns. How do these spatial patterns mutate? And I need to anticipate that. If ChatGPT came out and said, I know all language. I can speak language. I know the patterns, whatever. And then you asked it, well, how is language going to evolve? And it could give you a good answer. Then it's at, the point where it needs to be someday. It'll be like, oh, well, this is going to happen with the internet and they're going to use this new slang and I bet this is going to change and people are going to neotenize. And so, I guess, temporal patterns are anticipating how systems will evolve rather than what systems are.
Listeners, I hope you're not going to use the ADHD excuse and all of that. This is kind of like what's technical for some of you, but you kind of get the idea. This is like foundations for AI, not just AI creation. AI evolution, especially the temporal part, long term, and learn how to train itself, which I'm sure it's gonna hit that point. It's probably already achieving that to a small extent. I'm sure probably I'll give it a year or two. It's gonna be more obvious as time goes on. And that's pretty exciting. Can it be scary for some people? Yeah, but I'm gonna say this again. For those of you that still want to be relevant to the job market, if you want to say bye bye AI, well, bye bye to your job eventually. That if you want to be replaced, it's because of your own fear, your own ego. If you learn to work with AI, some opportunities may arise. There's definitely more cash, and cheddar, whatever slang you want to use. I'm not gonna use too much slang. Or fine, I'm gonna use one more, especially for the vernacular, urban people. Guap, money. So it's gonna be an opportunity for you. Instead of saying, "Oh, it's gonna grow like Terminator, it's gonna kill us all." And trust me, some journalists are indirectly pushing that same narrative as well. I was like, "Oh my goodness, give me a break here." And I love some of my news sources, but they push this crap that, oh, have you seen Terminator? Have you seen iRobot? It's not gonna be exactly the same. At the end of the day, it's fiction. At best, it's probably gonna give you a grain of salt of a truth. It's not gonna be completely accurate. It's gonna be far from it. At best, it's probably gonna be 10% accurate, and that's just me being nice. That's me being nice, okay? And the only way I think one of them even said it, humanity is gonna kill itself before AI could even get to that point. I mean, that was kind of like dark and sickening. And I say, yeah, the the kind of weapons we got now, yeah, that's a possibility. Especially when we start nuking each other, that's it. AI played a role, not the major one. The major one was us on that one. We played a major role wiping ourselves out. I say, yeah, yeah. I'm trying not to push that too much, but I think humanity has a better chance of wiping itself out than AI. That's just my dark, brutal, and honest prediction. Could I be wrong? Yes, and to be honest, I want to be wrong for the sake of humanity. I actually want to be wrong. Just call me kooky, crazy, humanity saved. Ah, yes, I can relax. But, until time will come, I guess. I'm going to put a question mark, dot, dot, dot. Has been answered yet? So, now it's a good transition to this. Yeah, this is a good transition to it. And I think we could use this term more often, AGI more often. Artificial general intelligence, for those of you not paying attention or late in the game. How can we align that with our goals and morale? You already said more values, so I think you just expand. How can we make AI just go in that direction besides just giving a bunch of data and stuff? I mean, a lot of stuff just teach you how to be smart. How can teachers be morally intelligent and achieve our goals? Maybe that's what I'm really asking.
Very good question. You can't, you know, you can't. So a lot of people are talking about this question. This is called the alignment problem, where we say, okay, and our systems are getting more intelligent, and once they get, how about as intelligent as us or more intelligent than us? How do we control? How do you control something that's more intelligent than you? You can't. Now, there are some things you can do to help with that, but I don't believe there's an actual rigorous solution to this problem. I don't think there is. So, but I do think there's a way forward, because when the mathematical, rigorous, guaranteed solution is just too hard to find, or it's not obvious, or it's just really hard to get to, or it might not exist at all, who knows, then you just ignore that. You just put that away and you say, okay, well, maybe there is no way to do it. I don't know. But what could we do right now that would make AI a little bit more safe, a little bit better? We could distribute it, because having it all in the hands of a few companies or a government or governments or whatever, having it all in the hands of a few is probably a bad idea. So if we disseminate its control, specifically the control of AI, then it aligns with our value system, and that's the value system of the people, right? That's the value system of everybody. So it aligns with the most common values, and the most common values are the most benign, the most peaceful, the most good, kind. I think that's the solution. So you make a system where you can disseminate the control. Now, I think it's maybe not the best way. I don't know what the best way to do that is, but one of the ways you could do that is by tying its what it does to some kind of token that humans can hold. So if you have a token, you have a right to vote on the system, then you can disseminate that as broadly as possible. So that's kind of one of the main reasons that Satori has a crypto token associated, is that we can disseminate the control of the AI by saying everybody who has a token can vote on what the AI cares to look at. And so if it cares to look at, stock prices, then it will learn how to predict the stock market. If it cares to look at the environment, then it will learn what's good or bad for the environment and how to change things there. It will gain control over whatever it's looking at because it's learning how to predict its future. So I think if you have a temporal predicting AI network like Satori, we don't have anything temporal like this yet. You should probably disseminate its control as early and as broadly as possible. Anyway, I think that's the best way to align it with our values.
So, in other words, have democracy and decentralize the thing, right? Instead of
Yeah.
just having a few people. That's a pretty good answer. I mean, why? I'm not an AI expert. That's what makes this question so fun. We don't know yet. Who's gonna look dumb or smart in the next couple of years? We'll find out. That's the mystery. A mystery that's gonna be temporary for sure. Time will definitely answer that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely give an AI to a few group of people. I will have to agree with that. Yes, if the AI goes haywire, no, I think the only bright side for it is that we could blame them for for letting the AI go crazy. You see, you stupid government. You see Sam Altman. You see what you did there. You stupid, arrogant fools. You made AI go crazy. That's the bright side to it. But
Yeah.
somehow AI goes haywire, even with that plan. I mean, the blame game, I think it's going to be nearly endless, and there's a case for a little bit for everyone to be participating. But I will rather go with spread out, have a token maybe for unique identifications. Okay, token C votes for Satori to focus more on the weather. Token D says, nah, no, no, no. I want to check the stock markets. I care about the money, not the environment as much. Token E for my name, once I don't know, want the AI to focus on presidential predictions and political, which candidate is gonna win because I care about that more than those other things, maybe and I forget A and B, maybe A and B will vote for what with whatever, or they probably have their own priorities. Yeah, I think yeah, it definitely gives us I'll say influence as of as a collective, ironically speaking. Yeah, I'll give that a shot. I'll give that a shot. I think that sounds more reasonable than let Microsoft or OpenAI have them have all of that. But I think AI is right because it's creating their own tools, more like specialized AI tools. So there's a positive right there. I mean, there's so much tools, but let's be honest, some of them are going to be obsolete and killed off because of competition and market. That's just the way it goes. This is not Disneyland, or you want to drink the Kool Aid, just think everybody's going to win. Well, you do that. Just don't spread your nonsense to me. And just stay in Disneyland, okay? I like to be a reality. I only use Disneyland as a break, not as a permanent state of mind. Or you need help from there. So that's what I'm gonna say. about that. I think the previous guest had a good point by letting AI evolve too much to the point that it overwhelms and outperforms human adaptability. Maybe that's to kind of just slow down the advancement, and I have to agree with that. Yeah, advancement, but all advances so much to the point that I don't know, it becomes a flying car and just I don't know goes haywire and causes disruption of air traffic or what have you. That's a bit of that's more like a pre Jetsons, if you know that cartoon. Yes, I'm aging myself a little bit here. Those old cartoons were still relevant when I was a kid, especially reruns. Okay, and so if you call me a boomer, I'm just gonna call you an idiot. You missed out on some of the great cartoons. Okay, yeah, the Jetsons, or I'm using the Jetsons, but their flying cars became a norm in big, super tall cities. You better love heights at that point because everything is high. If you fear heights, yeah, you should not live in that universe at all. Okay, so we don't want AI to metaphorically, let me calm you down, figuratively go at that path. Okay, wow, we humans are just slowly climbing the mountain, and we're already overwhelmed. Some of us die in the process. So that's my little description of that, and I am going to transition. You want actually before I do that, anything? There's anything else you want to add before I wrap this up?
Well, I mean, just what you were saying right there, the the slowdown of AI or the regulation or anything like that, it almost seems like it would be a fool's errand to me. It's like it almost seems like it's impossible to stop. And and so, embrace it. you know. Uh I don't know.
Hey, this is a mystery. Any answer sounds good until time will come.
That's right.
So that's it. I'm having fun with this. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. I'm not gonna die if I get it wrong. Remember, it's a human organic brain. I predicted it's not AI. But anyways, just blame Sam Altman for all of this. Anyways, because I want to take the childish, easy way out of this situation. I'm kidding. But I actually like these conversations. It gets you to think, be enlightened. Just embrace AI. I guess. I think without getting too stressed out about it, without being too fearful about it. And yeah, that's all I can say. So if you want to be job relevant or just be relevant, period, just use AI. That's just the way, this is another massive technological evolution slash disruption. It's not the first time we've been through this as a species. So, I threw in the medieval example before. I threw in even the industrial example before. This is just one of those, except it's digitized. And, outdated jobs will go away. Back then, cleaning the sewers was a human job in medieval times. So thank goodness that's gone. Okay. Yeah. And freight elevator operators, they're nearly extinct too. You're probably going to be dealing, you're going to have to just learn how to collaborate with the machine, especially if you want to be relevant to the market, especially for those who are close to retiring. Okay. Become a Puritan if you hate technology that much. Or a cave person if you want to quadruple down on that. Yes, forget double, triple, quadruple down. Become a cave person. Have fun with that. Live off the grid. Whatever. Just don't come back to me saying that I was right because I am an egotistical person. It's like, I told you so. I'm gonna rub it out. I told you so. Told you so is stupid, but whatever. Let me stop being so mean. All right, let's do the shameless plug-in. Give his product a try. Just give it a try. Okay, and the link I'm going to spell it out to you. It is SatoriNet.io. That's SatoriNet.io /download. Okay, I'm going to put that in the link as well. All right, and then give it a shot. I'm definitely going to be giving it a shot, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be enlightened. That's what I'm expecting, and hopefully I'll make more informed stock slash crypto decisions, and Stop treating crypto like it's some joke. I mean, some YouTubers have made fun of it. Especially when an idiot influencer decides to sell an idiotic token like Fatty Coin. And yes, I'm referring to the what YouTube drama is this? Yes, I'm going bottom of the barrel quality now, just to prove a point. Boogie 2988, the guy who faked his cancer.
Oh,
It's
wow.
horrendous. Yeah, it's horrendous, and
Wow.
I'm not going to talk more about that. He scammed his well, not yeah, people. I'm not sure they're fans. People at least $10,000. So don't get
None.
crypto coins from criminals and YouTube influencers. The reason why I mentioned them is because when it comes to cryptocurrency, and I'm gonna sound like a judgmental priest, I don't care. They are the devil. They will trick and deceive you. Go to a community that's far more knowledgeable, that's willing to help. If you sense toxicity, just go to the next person. Don't stay arguing with them. Wasting time. Time is money, okay? Time is money. That's my only advice to you. And I will even put some cards of, well, actually, one. I'm going to put card of one guest who's very knowledgeable of crypto just to get this person's take instead of some Logan Paul and Boogie. They are scam artists and the devil when it comes to cryptocurrency, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Don't trust the influencer when it comes to that. They don't know anything. They just push the product for a quick buck. All right? So give this product a try, okay? This is Predictive. It's free.
It is free, and it's not very useful yet. So right now, especially in early, the beta period and all that, it kind of has been made to run automatically to watch the real world. But if people are willing to download it and run it for that, they probably also want their own data predicted. And so, as the system evolves, we're going to make it into a tool that people can use for their own data. You can route your own stuff to it, but it's not that good yet. So it's got a lot of evolving to do, but we'll get there.
and so it's a beta. It's a nice way of saying it's a baby product. It's learning, it's growing, it's mature, and it will refine, okay? And trust me, ChatGPT to some extent is even overrated. It try to be all and all. No AI could be all, you can't service every single person. It's a great tool, don't get me wrong. It's a great tool, but it cannot service every single demand. And that's why sometimes a specialized AI is better because they just focus on one or two things. Like if you want better audio, you go to Udio, for example. Okay, and if you want a calendar, you go to Calendly. There's a paid version I will suggest, but I'm going to also put a card for that. And that's for YouTube only. Of another tech, the bubbly woman, and you know her, of loyal listeners, Denzel Eden about a calendar AI app. You use that one instead, okay? Because it focuses on their particular niche, lane, specialty, whatever the heck you want to call it. Okay, so try this thing out. I'm sure you have some influence over it. And who knows, Jordan will gain insight and even clarity what he wants to do, how to achieve his vision with that. The vision, because some people just give up their vision. We don't want that. Don't kill his vision. Be nice to his vision, okay? Give it a shot. It's free for God's sakes. It's free. So it's risk free, all right? Just try it out based on that. It is not a worthless product. It is a developing product. That's something I strongly disagree with. It's a developing product. Give it a shot. You be an early tester. Your inputs are valuable, okay? That's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah, give it a shot. He's not charging you money. Unlike there's nothing wrong with charging for money. At the end of the day, it's a business, so you want to create a good product. But you're not scamming, deceiving people, just like the YouTubers I called out. I'm sure there's many other YouTubers that have done that, but those are your two biggest ones, and that's good enough. And I don't want to give them any more clout than they already gained. So, enough of that. So, anything you want to add before I really, really wrap this up?
No, thank you. Thank you very much for talking with me. That's awesome.
No, no problem. Alrighty. So, for my listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, follow, whatever the word says, okay, or download if it's through Buzzsprout or Apple Podcasts. Give a donation if you want, one time or reoccurring, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. For those who those who decide to pay for this podcast, I'm gonna start having some exclusive episodes, things that come down the pipeline. Okay, things that come down the pipeline with that one. But if you're hesitant, I don't blame you. I'm not gonna beg for it. That's entirely up to you. It's completely optional. I don't do the whole e-begging stuff because it's crap. All right, so for wherever or whenever you listen to this podcast, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.